Ladies and gentlemen, we have a guy here. From day one, he's been running parallel with the soccer while he has been in the entertainment. He's one of the founders of the Street Guys Soccer League, and we'd like to welcome him to the project, which is starting to go into the entertainment phase, which is the soccer history of Toronto here, Caribbean soccer history. So without further ado, I would like to ask him to introduce himself and give us his background and from where he came.
Yes, good afternoon, good evening, Olin. My full name is David Michael Williams. Stage name and entertainment name is Ghetto Soul. Originally from Mango Rose. Mango Rose, for those of you who don't know, is the first community behind the bridge in Port of Spain, up on Duke and Piccadilly Street. Was a strong member of Jacksonville Sports Club. Jacksonville was one of the teams, one of the better teams in the Movina League. Used to happen every Sunday morning in Savannah. Jacksonville also used to be catering some outstanding parties at that time. As far as the entertainment and thing goes, everybody was Mango Rose that bring back All Stars. There was a time that All Stars had a little problem. The state side winter and there was a state side used to play at Hilton Hotel every day. Anyways, that state side leave and went to form a band called Boston Symphony. And they bring all the pan and Mango Rose, and Mango Rose, all the members in Mango Rose and Jacksonville is what clean up the pan, and it's Mango Rose and Jacksonville that bring back Catholic All Stars. I don't want to go too far.
Yeah, one thing we gotta touch on is that I understand that you guys give a party with Everett Cummins somewhere the Venezuelan guest house.
Was very close to where Everett Cummins was living. And at that time, he was playing Pro Bowl in America. So we used to go and hang out there every evening and thing. And when he comes down, he used to bring down a lot of 45s and things. So Everett and I decided to give a party. And we do the party at Venezuelan guest house. And that was the first party I ever given in my life together with Everett Cummins in Trinidad at the Venezuelan guest house.
All right. So what year you came to Canada?
The 3rd of March, 1970.
Okay, you're one of the early pioneers. What did you see here in the terms of soccer in Toronto? I guess you came to Toronto, correct?
Yeah.
What did you see?
At that time, the soccer wasn't that big in Toronto, that big in Canada at that time. But most of the soccer was played by Italian guys and the Portuguese and some other European soccer enthusiasts, right? I'm not sure if West Indies United and them was up at that time, but we were saying about them at that time also. So and at that time, most of the soccer thing was playing down at Lansdowne and St Clair, and in that area down in the west, because that is where the Italians and them they were living and working and everything, and they were one of the outstanding, ethnic group and things that was doing the soccer on an established scale. And they had a soccer league, I can't remember where it was. Yeah, but that is where the soccer was. And that is how the soccer was going on at that time. Was mostly around the European players and the European community.
Okay, so between 70 and 73, I met you somewhere in 74 after meeting Dezo, but it seemed to me that you were around when we start getting into parties and stuff. So what happened between in the 70s there before, let's say 74, 25, when this whole thing kicked off with the Street Guys League? What you did in terms of ball or did you the activities here in Toronto?
So we actually started the football, the old soccer thing, and we used to get together and play at Lansdowne and St Clair. And then we played there for a while, but it was just like a friendly thing. Lansdowne and St Clair to Oakwood and St Clair.
Hold on.
Oakwood Collegiate School.
In regards to the Lansdowne and St Clair, was it teams or you with Broomy and these guys? Was it guys meeting like all these exhibitors guys met down by Parkdale side? Was it just...
No, there wasn't any teams. We were just getting together. Everybody was just getting together.
You have any names of guys who were part of that scrimmaging?
Excuse me?
You have any names of the guys who were scrimmaging in Lansdowne and St.
Ataketo, Bonnie, Renrick Bruns, Ronnie Julius, oh God.
That's that's good.
You know what I mean? There's another good man around that time, Harry Boy, which is known as Winston Clark. Right?
Yeah.
So and a lot of other guys too that I ain't calling, that I can't remember the time.
So that, a lot of us. By those names you called now, it shows me now that those are the different teams that was formulated. So that making sense what you're saying.
That's right. And David is one too. David team was Bandos.
Correct.
Right? David was there too. And I took how long I remember, but David was there too. He used to be playing too.
Okay, so it formulate now, and we end up on Oakwood. So you remember the progression, and what did you play any official role in the league, the forming of the league, or I remember you being around players.
I was considered one of the founders of the Street Guys Soccer League. You understand? It's me and Arthur used to live together, and Buddy was around too. And Buddy was part of the putting on the foundation of the Street Guys Soccer League. So, but and then we used to play at Oakwood and St Clair, and then more guys started came in, more Trinidadians started coming and play at Oakwood and Oakwood and St Clair. Like I think you was one, and Loney was one, and Pedro was one, if I'm not too sure. But at Oakwood and St Clair, that is when we got another nice group of soccer players. Right? Which were way better than me and Arthur and you know what I mean, and other guys. And that's when the things start to shape up. And then from Oakwood and St Clair, we moved to Bathurst and St Clair, which we're using this St Michael College ground. And was the same section of guys again. Right? Which was Ronnie, Harry Boy, myself, Wandos, Desmond. You know what I mean? This is something we could have a lot of good men I'm calling, and a lot of men who was there in the putting down of the foundation.
Yeah, they would understand though. They would understand you can't
like
call
a lot of good men, Noble and all of them too. And the whole section, Orba and a lot of men. So and then we moved from Bathurst and St Clair from St Michael College to Flemington Ground. And when the thing moved up to Flemington, it started to develop rapidly. And then it started to get more serious. And then the teams and things started, like exhibitors and bandos and players and, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of good ball players from all over that came into Flemington Ground. Guys from Guyana and from Jamaica and things who played with different teams in the league. And then La Paz Shakin. So, and then after a while, that's when you came in and was part of the administration or running the league or whatever it is. And I think you were the one that was instrumental in changing the name from Street Guys Soccer League to the Caribbean Soccer League. Right?
Yeah. So but if I saw you in a couple of pictures, I think I saw you in one that players won. I think that looked like around 80, right? So you were always an enthusiast on the park. You always was around the league and supporting the league and wanted.
We just start the league.
Yeah.
We just start Flemington Park.
Yeah. So now within that time, there's a parallel, ladies and gentlemen, that this guy, while we doing our stuff on the park, I would say it's safe to say you do what you did best by getting into the music now and facilitating us on a Saturday. And how, because I should tell you, we're doing the entertainment part of the project as we go now. You know, it started with Desmond, right? Because Desmond been on the league committee and stuff, and seeing that I have you now, um, because to me, ladies and gentlemen, I have this guy. He has a knack, and I think it's a gift for finding places and keeping us here in Toronto entertained. Because 1348 was the first place we had a presentation of awards, right? So,
Yes.
do you feel that the entertainment part of the league you had to shoulder? I don't know if it was built in because it was something we needed.
Well, here again, there were so many things and so many people that I'm not going to I may not remember all, but I'm not feeling good about that. But nevertheless, the music scene started, and I started playing music in Mango Rose. At that time, the DJ thing was writing with Chichi from Mango Rose, Big Man City, Mickey the Popcorn Man and thing, right?
Yeah.
So there was two, Suki and Santa. Suki and Santa, they came up and they started their DJ organization and was Disco Soul. So at that time, the DJs and thing was now starting to take shape as far as the party scene was concerned. And Desmond and I was always brothers and family because we were married two sisters, or we were two sisters. And so we were always together, we knew each other from each other. And we came up with the name Ghetto Soul, being because what you'll consider, we from the ghetto in Trinidad. Nelson Street is in the ghetto, Mango Rose is in the ghetto, Lavante is in the ghetto, Taxton Place, right?
Yes.
So that's when we come up with the name Ghetto Soul.
Yeah, I can relate to that because I went southeast and I know around there used to call the ghetto. Yes, Nelson Street.
Southeast is on George Street.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, Nelson.
Eastern Boys is at George and Prince. Right in the heart of the ghetto.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's why we come up with the name Ghetto and Ghetto Soul. But we was really on the music, and we was serious. Desmond and I was about the music because we love music and we know how to play music. And that's what made us ahead of everyone else at that time and then for years to come. And then we had other DJ songs and things, Disco International, Toll Clan. I mean, there was a lot. And for me, I feel bad not being able to remember everybody because there was a lot of guys who contributed to the music scene. And at that time, there were more Trinidadians keep coming in all the time. And it played an important part of with the building of the community in Toronto, because a lot of people living by themselves and so on, trying to find a job and all kind of things. So the weekend was very important to them, because at the time when they was coming and see their own kind and see people that they know and who they don't know and make friends, and a lot of the families that living together now met at one of the places, 1348, what we had as an entertainment spot.
Yeah.
A lot of people get together and met each other for the first time at 1348. So 1348 was very important in the building of the Trinidadian community in Toronto. I was part of all the stuff that was happening in the 70s coming up from the Trinidadian community. All the stuff, because there was a time when you want to see a fellow Trinidadian, you had to go at battles and blow up by Honest every Saturday morning from 9 to the clock. And it was known that everybody you'll come there and you'll see an ex-Trinidadian, because most of the black people at that time was Jamaican. Long before 1348, all of us used to live in a house at Euclid and College, 408 Euclid. And every Saturday you used to have a party at 408 Euclid. There was about a thousand of us used to live in the house. It was automatic.
You talking about apartment building or what?
It was a house.
Yeah.
I just exaggerated.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So every Saturday night you start after that, and after 408 Euclid was 801 College. And then the thing moved to 801 College and 81 College become the party place. And that is with Suki and Santa. That is where they make the first mark at 81 College Street.
Okay, yeah. And yet, ladies and gentlemen,
After everything starts at 4 Euclid. Then it went to 801 College, and then everything else after that. And it had men like Fox, DJ Fox, was an up and coming DJ too.
Yeah.
A next guy by the name of Black Ivory.
Mike, I know it's a little away from the football, but again, you also played some role here in the community when it comes to entertainment around the Caravana too. While we have you, we might as well get your information, and then I'll put it in whatever perspective or whatever thing I have to put it. So you did play roles, you did have bands on the road and stuff for Caravana, and that's all?
Yeah, well, I'll try to do the best I can. We was the first DJ on the road. And after that, with Phil Velasco, File a Motion, we was a band DJ from the road. And after that year, 1973-74, the band DJ from the road. And we wanted live band.
I remember that.
So from 73, right through up until this day, I've always been involved in the culture and the music and the food of Trinidad. That is why when we had a restaurant by the name of the Iron Pot was reflective of a name that was known to Trinidadians. They have iron pots right through the Caribbean, but the different islands called it by a different name. For instance, Jamaicans used to call the same iron pot a Dutch pot, right? And some other things, right? So we have always been involved in the music and the culture. Up until this day, I've always been the band leader. Today, I am what you call the most senior band leader in Caravana.
Okay,
The Caribbean Festival. There's no other that is active. So, and that is because I love my great love for the music and the culture of Trinidad, because I believe strongly that we were rich where culture is concerned. In the music, we have the steel band, we have folklore, we have Better Village Council, we have the drummers, we have Hussein, which is the Indian thing. Trinidad is so rich in culture and rich in food. Our menus is the greatest. There is nobody to do a macaroni pan caladon chicken like a Trinidadian. We come up here, we were featuring that. So to come back to the thing that we and I were always, I don't like saying I, but we were always involved in the music and the culture of Trinidad and Tobago up until this day, and also the Caribbean.
Yeah. So based on the leagues and stuff, have you, I think in the preamp you said you haven't followed the Contrast Cup. That's correct, right?
The Contrast, no.
But I guess you would be familiar with the Irie tournament. What you thought of the Irie tournament?
The Irie tournament did a lot for the community, because the Irie tournament had developed into something that was so big and so nice and was well supported by the people of the community, right? And I think it was just something that was really outstanding at that time. The level of ball was really good, and if I'm not mistaken, they used to try to bring a team from Trinidad and one or two teams used to come from the USA.
That's correct.
The Irie organization and the Irie tournament was just outstanding.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, you and I even teamed up a couple of times and do the after the Irie tournament dance, you see. So you are very much part of this landscape in terms of what we're doing here with this project, Michael.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was important to get you, because every time around the ball, you've been there, you've been, and that, I think the IRE tournament, the after tournament dance is even more showing to show that you've been there and you've been around the ball and you support the ball with what you could do best.
Be part of and was very supportive of everything in the Trinidadian community up until this day. Everything that had to do with the culture of Trinidad and Tobago was always there with everything. If I wasn't part of it, I was a big supporter of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you talk about these organizations like IRE, for instance, there's another place downtown, River and every so called Dispolac, with Martin and them. That was wicked.
Yes.
On Queen Street. Then we had Club Trinidad with Fat Clyde and Clyde Marshall and some other guys. There's a band called Undergrad. You know what I mean?
That was Miles on them.
With Miles and them, and I mean, it's so much. And I mean, the first big blocko in Toronto happened behind Club Trinidad on Dalhousie.
Correct.
Outside.
Yes.
Pat Clyde is a man that did a lot in terms of promoting the culture and promoting the calypso. That is was calypso, and the soca was now coming in. Pat Clyde did a lot. You understand?
Yeah.
Because he was part of Club Trinidad. Before Club Trinidad, when you have a party, Pat Clyde used to come and give you the beers and the liquor and things free, and you pay him after. And those, at that time, we had a place on Broadview called Dunhall. A lot of big things happened on Dunhall, right?
Yeah.
That's on Broadview Avenue. Then it's at 1260 Broadview. A lot of big things just happened there. So the thing, the ball and the entertainment and things was always together.
That's what I know.
And everybody was together.
Well, that's how we got close, because it was ball and entertainment, because you had to be part of this program.
Power cap.
Yeah.
Right? Because after a big game or after a tournament, it's the party later.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was always like that.
That's right.
Everybody, and was so nice, was so nice, and so community building. Flemington Park at the time was huge in terms of families used to dress, not talking about dress, just clean like if they're going to a wedding, to come down on Flemington Park. That was so beautiful, and the whole of Flemington Park was full with spectators.
Yeah. So, and Michael, I mean, maybe some of the coaches who aspiring to be serious coaches probably had a little problem with people like you, who the players and them partying in 13, 14 before the game the next day.
Yeah. I mean, always doing an amazing job. And when you and your boys or you and your team or whatever it is, and the committee took over the league and they changed it from the Street Guys Soccer League to the Caribbean Soccer League, that was great. And then you always had a real nice approach to the ball. And then that would make players above the crowd, because you always managed to feel the players, Selly and Orban and all them fellas, and when all they come together as a team, only was real good.
Yeah.
And that's because of your serious professional approach. You brought a kind of professionalism to the ball in Flemington Park and wake up everybody. Exhibitors and mandos, and everybody started to look for the players and want to play better, because everybody wanted to beat players and couldn't beat players. Players was always an outstanding soccer team.
Yeah.
That's great. And you played a major role in the reorganizing of the league, which was given it with Street Guys is what it is, and Street Guys is a good name, and it's Street Guys that started it, and you come and bring it up and bring it to the next level into the eyes of some people that Caribbean Soccer League, to them that was more respectable name. But we could never forget Street Guys. We could never forget or ignore the foundation.
At all.
So the foundation was always important.
At all. You can't forget that. You can't forget that at all.
It's good for Dr. General and them guys to know the foundation that was set in this town musically.
Yeah.
That's because the foundation was set by Fat Clyde and Clyde Marslin and Elso James. Elso James did some of the biggest promotion
Yeah, that's why it was important to get you and get that part of the history, Michael. I think the way the media set up now, we have to do it ourselves. It's better hear from you because that information that you have to give in your industry from 1970 all the way up is important. So I have to listen to you and people prior to.
Yeah, Clyde Marshall and Clyde McLean.
Right.
They were the two owners of Club Trinidad.
While we're on that and you passing now, this is a question I think would be very interesting to hear you answer for the public. Mike's, where is that ability or that I don't know what it is. I think it's a gift, but how do you go about finding places, party places and stuff? And ladies and gentlemen, he's been doing that since I knew him.
You see, you're always thinking. Doesn't matter what you're involved with. You were involved in soccer, and you were always thinking how to make the team better. And the way you make the team better is by getting better players. And then when you get the better players, you have the psychological approach to bring everybody together as a unit and we playing as a team, right?
Yeah.
So that was a gift that you have. So in that term, I was always thinking of finding new venues and a better venue. I always used to be doing the research through the real estate market. I used to be actually driving around and walk to different places and go to different banquet halls and other places and see those that would have been adequate and those who would have been able to allow us to do what we want to do. Because we want to party like Canadians. We party like Trinidadians, so we want to come to the party. Man leaving home 10, 11 o'clock and expect the party to go till 4, 5 in the morning. There were not a lot of banquet hall and places that would have allowed you to do that. But I just find that. So to answer your question, once you have that fire inside of you and you understand that there is always room for improvement. So I was always searching and trying to find places and banquet facilities that we could do this thing so that people who come in, because they're working all week. And on Saturday night, when they come out on Saturday night, they want to be well entertained. They want to go to a place where the music is good, the night is good, and they know everybody and everybody know them. So I just had was to do that. I just say it probably was a gift. And probably like we said, I found a lot of places that we had, and so that we could do the culture thing.
Well, just a little caveat on that. How, if you are a young person now who listening to you now, know the place, but the negotiation, because obviously, Michael, you used to, I don't want to use the word win out, but you used to negotiate in a way, I don't know if it's paying an extra price or whatever, because you were getting the places, and basically we knew the timeline was the big part of the negotiations.
There were places that people said, no, you can't do that here. And so your negotiation skills and your thing skills had to be on par. And then you always have to give these people some assurances that everything is all right. We're black, yes, but it's okay. You don't have anything to worry about because we're cool. And after the party, we go clean up and fix up nice and leave the place exactly the way that you met it. So you have to give these owners and these managers of these different places at that time some assurances that everything will be all right. Because Toronto has always been a first-class city, has always had nice entertainment facilities and places and banquet halls, which was, a lot of them was owned by Italian and Ukrainian and different types of people, right?
Yes.
So, and that's what it was. You just had to be able to talk to them and negotiate with them in a way that this is going to be a party. We don't deal with guns, we don't deal with drugs. We just come in to have a nice time, and I can assure you that everything will be fine. We're not going to damage the place. The place is going to be nice, and we are decent, law-abiding citizens.
Yeah, well, here's a loaded one. Take your time. While you were successful with that part of the negotiation, I'm not sure how, and maybe you could tell us how that happens when you're dealing with our people and how that negotiation seemed to go. How would you balance the two?
But our people, some of them was difficult and some of them was okay. But the difficult ones was because of envy and jealousy, which was totally unnecessary. There was no need for it. And was trying to be unnecessarily too strict or too hard. But once again, like you said, if your negotiation skills is on par and you have the right psychological approach and it's something that you want, use a place that you see that you could need, you just get down and sit down and talk in a real professional, manageable way. And like I said, once again, you give them some assurances that you know what you're doing, you have been experienced, and everything will be fine.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, you listen to the guy reasoning, and he almost convinced us already that, you know, of his negotiating skills. So we see why he's been getting these places, and trust me, he doesn't really give in very easily. So, because he also secure boat rights.
We were the first to do boat rights. And those days we used to do it at the ferry. This is the Trillium, the Star McBride, and the Thomas Remy. So the ferries were vessels, were boats that they used to use to carry the people to and from the island. The people who live in the island, that is what they use
As public transportation.
Right. And then we started with everything and asked them to, if we could use the cigar boat, right? And we sat down and we talk, and then they think about it and it's all right. And that's what the thing started.
There you
and then
go.
we went to other boats, you know, like the tall ship. We were the first to start to give boat ride in the city. We were the first to do boat ride from the midnight to dawn on the tall ship.
There you go. You remember what year is that, Michael, though?
There's another year there.
Yeah.
And the name of the boat was the Empire Sandy. You understand? And then at night, we had a boat ride that called from midnight to dawn when we come back. A man come and say, "Ghetto, what are you doing, man?" I say, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You put the black people on that boat ride." I say, "Why?" He said, "The tall ship is what they use to bring slaves on from Africa." And when that guy tell me that, I never use the tall ship again.
Yeah, it was. It was in the history books, yes, it was.
Right.
Yeah. R&B. I never was into Calypso and Sing Home. I came here as R&B, and when I came here, you guys were the ideal fit.
And at that time, the music we were playing was reggae. Reggae and the early R&B, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some calypso at that time, because there wasn't much big dancing calypso at that time.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
At that time, I think. But the majority of music at that time was reggae music, and then reggae and soul. Right?
Yeah.
And at that time, when you go to buy some record shop to buy record, the soul records quite in the back.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Put on their search.
Yeah.
And then we start to go, when we find we wasn't getting music big enough, it's not one other record shop on Baptist by the name of Tio.
That's right.
Opposite Baptist Subway. Right? She was the only game in town. And then we started to go, and at that time, as the thing developing, we used to listen to that station called WBLK.
Right, the AM, yeah. No, Waffle first, the AM first before BLK.
Right, was Waffle and then WBLK, right?
Yeah.
And then we started to go buying records of Buffalo, and then we started bringing the DJs from WBLK to play with us in the parties of town. And by doing that was instrumental in having a successful party, the party score, because everybody was listening to WBLK.
Yeah.
When they hear Rodney Lee come in, and this one come in, and Watford played an important part in the building of the music in Toronto as far as R&B was concerned, because that's where we used to get most of the musical vibe from, because there wasn't much other station that we could have listened to about the music. And then in your mind, I used to go to Buffalo every week.
Yeah, I used to go to.
Buy music and come back. So they couldn't get in Toronto.
Yeah. So yeah, Michael, boy, I want to thank you for giving us all that information, and you know, on behalf of the community, I want to thank you for giving us all these party nights. You had a little vision challenge?
Yes, coming along nicely, one day at a time, sweet Jesus.
All right. Okay, so you take care.
And thank you very much.
No, you're welcome.
We might have to do part 2.
No, well,